Hey pool owners, it's Rob with Inyo Pools. Today I'm going to show you how to look for a suction side air leak and how to do a quick repair. As you may notice, this is not a pool pump, it's my irrigation pump, but you can run into the same problem with a pool pump. I noticed that my sprinklers were very weak, and so I came and looked at the pump and located a suction side leak. Same thing could be applied to a pool pump. If you notice your return jets are real weak or your water features are real low, you could have an air leak. In a previous video, I showed you how to diagnose it, and it ended up being the pump lid. The O-ring on the pump lid was bad, so that caused the air leak. This is different. It's actually in the plumbing, and I'll show you how to look for that and how to repair it. Alright, so here's a trick on how to find a suction side air leak in the plumbing. I've got a bottle of just a little bit of water and dish soap. You shake that up until you get a lot of bubbles, and then we'll squeeze some of the bubbles near the suspected areas where it might be leaking. And if there's a leak, it'll suck the bubbles in. It'll be real noticeable. So we'll go ahead and turn on the pump and try and look for the leak. Hopefully you can see that it's pulling the bubbles in right there. That's where my leak is. You know, one thing I wanted to add was this is all the suction side. So anything before the intake of the pump, it's going to suck air. So you're not going to see any water leaks. If it were on the pressure side, which is after the return, you'd see it dripping if there was a leak. Alright, it's going to be kind of a tight fit, but I'll probably cut it close to the elbow here, and then I'll thread in the new fitting here. But here's what I'm going to be using today. So we've got a little bit of 1.5" PVC pipe, primer and glue, a hacksaw, some sandpaper, Teflon tape, and that'll be for this threaded fitting, and a coupler. That's all you'll need to do the repair. All right, well, I should have been a little more careful when I was hacksawing this. I didn't think it was going to be that brittle, but this just snapped right off. So I have to get this piece out from the volute there. All right, well, this hasn't been the easiest process, but I am slowly getting this threaded piece out. Okay, so I was able to get that threaded piece out, essentially mostly using a flathead screwdriver, a hammer, and a pair of pliers to pull this stuff out. Normally it's much easier. Normally when you make the cut, you can just unthread it, it comes right out, but you know, from being in the sun all those years, I guess it just got real brittle and snapped off, and I couldn't get anything around it to unthread it. Alright, so now I'm going to wrap some Teflon tape around these threads and then thread the fitting into the housing there, and the Teflon tape will just give it a good seal. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and hand tighten it as far as I can, and then I'll get a pair of channel locks and get a little bit tighter. Alright, now I'm going to finish tightening it with a pair of large channel locks. Now this is a bronze housing. Most pool pumps are going to be a plastic or a fiberglass, so you want to be careful over tightening because you don't want to crack the pump housing. I'm not worried about that with this old bronze pump. And you might have been wondering what the sandpaper is for. It's just to clean up these little burrs that are on the cut pieces. Just kind of clean it out. Okay, what I think my plan is going to be is, since this is easier to move, I'll start from this side, and this will be the last glue that I do. So I'll get a small piece of that 1.5" PVC, maybe just a couple inches, put it there, glue it in, then glue that onto that piece, and then this will be the final connection. Alright, that's the primer. Now I'll put some glue on. Alright, sprinklers are working great again. Before it was just dribbling out because it was sucking so much air from that leak. Now it's back to normal. Okay, so that suction side air leak is now fixed. I've tested the pump. You saw the sprinklers were working great. Now the same, like I said, the same thing can be applied to pool pumps. If your jets are moving real slow, or your water features are low, you could have a suction side air leak. You know, the other common spots, like we mentioned before, would be the pump lid. That O-ring can go bad. Make sure your valves in front of your pump are all open so it can get plenty of water. Your impeller, check that. Sometimes it can get clogged with stuff. Even the lines going back to your skimmer and main drain, sometimes those can get clogged. Usually it's your skimmer if you're vacuuming stuff. If you vacuum least right into it, it'll get clogged, so that could be a reason. But yeah, so you know, so we showed you an easy tip with the soap on how to find a suction side air leak. You know, check the intake, check these joints. If you have valves, you can check around the valves too. So yeah, any of those things can cause the pump not to prime, and that's where you're going to get that low pressure. But if you have any questions about this video or anything pool spa, or I guess irrigation related, visit us over at InyoPools.com. Thanks for watching.